Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to eSIM Studios. My name is Taylor Bell. Wow, what a day yesterday. Samsung just launched the S25 Edge. First off, before we get to the S25 Edge, reminds me, if you like this shirt, if you look at our merchandise down below, you will see this shirt for sale. It's the S25 Ultra logo printed on a shirt. You can pick one up for yourself, for your loved one. Decently priced, fantastic quality, may I add. So grab one of those if you want. Very cool. So we got a lot of cool stuff down there in our shop. But S25 Edge. So this is an interesting device, and if you watched my channel before, I kind of go back and forth. Should I get it? Should I not get it? The specs. I like some of the specs. There's some specs that I don't like, and we will get into it. And there's some interesting deals and some not so interesting deals. We're going to jump into all of it. So, the super thin, super slim device that's going to be competing head to head with the Apple iPhone 17 Air that's going to be released here in September. But the S25 Edge was released last night right at about 7 p.m. Interesting time pick for Samsung. Normally they go, when they launch devices, it's at 9 a.m. New York time on a Tuesday, right? Or Monday. I think it's Monday or Tuesday, whatever. So on a Monday night at 7 p.m. is pretty interesting. But it was a prime time event for what Samsung hopes a prime time device, but specs might tell you otherwise. So I can instantly tell you, just looking at the specs, how this is going to perform and the headaches that some of you are going to have if you decide to get it. And again, if you want to, we will walk you through your options. So the most surprising thing from last night is that it is available on all carriers. So we initially thought, well, we didn't think, it was a fact. It was rumored that Samsung was going to make these in limited quantities because Samsung does not know for sure how many they're going to sell, right? They don't know the demand basically, and I think that's dangerous for Samsung because it almost seems like that Samsung is following in the footsteps of Apple. Now, why do I say that? Well, there's a new report out on Mobile Tech News. Let me pull this up. Mobile Tech News. Samsung is planning to get rid of the Plus model and insert the thin model. Now, where does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, Apple. Apple is going to do that. So I think Apple, it's a good decision to get rid of the Plus model and insert the iPhone 17 Air. So there will be no iPhone 17 Plus, right? Apple's going to insert that iPhone 17 Air, kick that iPhone 17 Plus out the door. I think that's a good decision. Samsung's going to attempt to do the same thing next year, kicking out the S26 Plus. There will be no S26 Plus, but there will be S26 Edge. And I don't think that's a good idea because, again, the Plus model is the one to get. That's the best one. Now, when you go to iPhone, the best one to get is probably the Pro Max, probably the Pro. Next year, I would say the regular iPhone 16 was the one to get this year, but it only had 60 hertz refresh rate. Next year, the base model, I believe they're all getting 120 hertz refresh rate promotion. So that'll probably be the one to get next year. Just price, right? I mean, it's the cheapest one, but an iPhone is an iPhone, right? I mean, it's basically all the same. Now, it's dangerous for Samsung because this could hurt sales. Even though the Plus model was the least sold, I'm not sure Samsung's going to have to make major improvements to this Edge model to get this thing sold. I think have y'all checked out the reviews? So I was watching a few reviews last night, and once you see one review, you basically seen them all, right? They all talk about the size. They all talk about how thin it is. They compare it to some other models. I probably watched 3 to 4 reviews. Now, only one of them said the phone got hot. Now, I don't want to beat a dead horse with this over and over and over, but my S25 Ultra is getting hot again. And it has the battery bug where it charges very slow. So guess what? I put my main SIM back in my Pixel 9 Pro XL because this S25 Ultra was giving me headaches, right? So one reviewer said the device was getting hot. Now they're using the same processor and they did not technically use the same vapor chamber. That may be a Samsung maybe kicking themselves in the ass a few months down the road when all these users jump on Reddit and on YouTube and complain of their devices overheating. That's one of the issues. That's probably the main reason why I have not ordered it right now, because I'm scared to death of mine overheating. I can do away with that telephoto camera. I like the thinness, but it's the overheating that worries me. Now, it also has slow charging. We'll get into the specs. This also has slow charging. So what I'm talking about, let's go over here. If you go to GSM Arena, well, you don't have to because I got it pulled up right here. So it has the new Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 display. Now, technically not display, but Samsung makes the AMOLED display. But I'm talking about the glass where your finger actually interacts with the phone. That's a brand new shard of glass, Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2. The S25 Ultra does not even have this, right? Does not. The S25 Edge does not have the anti-reflective display. That's one thing I was going to keep an eye on. Now they're charging what, $1,100 for this thing, and we'll get into pre-orders here in just a second. But look at this here. So you got a 12 gigs of RAM base, 256 base, and then it goes up to 512 gigs of storage, and you continue with that 12 gigs of RAM. But look at this charging. So charging down here, the battery's small, right? We know that. Here's something I want you to keep in mind if you are considering purchasing this, is the 25 watt charging. That is incredibly slow in today's terms, right? So it goes 0 to 100, it says 55% in 30 minutes. Now, I hope that's fairly accurate. Only time will tell when people get this in hand. That would mean on pace for a full charge in an hour. I doubt that. This is the same because when I had the Z Flip 4, I had the same issue. Very small battery, right around the same size, 3,900 milliamp per hour battery, and it would be dead by lunchtime, and then you would plug it in, and it's such slow charging, it would be plugged in for the remainder of the day. I've been scarred by that phone. That's all I think about. Like right when I got my cursor hovered over the ordered button, and I like 2 or 3 times yesterday, and I didn't do it because this is all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the overheating. I'm thinking about the slow charging. It's going to be dead all day. So Samsung claims it has you can get a full day of use out of one full charge. We will see. Time will tell. But if you are interested, look, all the other specs look great. It's going to have Samsung DeX, USB Type-C 3.2 port, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4. I mean, everything looks pretty good. It's got that 200 megapixel sensor on there. There's a 12 megapixel ultra wide. I have seen some camera comparisons, and it's just a fact. It does miss that telephoto sensor, which means when you zoom, it's going to lack zooming features. You'll still be able to zoom, but maybe 2x, 3x at the most. I think 5 at the most. It's kind of like the OnePlus 2. That doesn't have a telephoto sensor on there. When you have a OnePlus 2, a Nothing Phone 2. I get those companies mixed up. OnePlus, there I go again. A Nothing Phone 2 lack the telephoto sensor, which means you can only zoom in like 5x, and that is it. And when you zoom in, which will be the same thing on this S25 Edge, when you zoom in, quality dips off. Right after you get past 2x, quality just nosedives. Which could be an issue for myself, right? Could be an issue for you, could not. Depends on, do you take a lot of photos? Now, I'm not just talking about a selfie, but do you really take a lot of photos? Do you take a lot of videos? I take a ton of videos, a ton of pictures. So I was gonna look, but that's not gonna. This wouldn't be my only phone, right? This would kind of be like a toy, kind of like a a fun phone. But that's why I use my Pixel, right, for my main phone. But the camera quality on here compared to not just other devices, but the S25 Edge compared to S25 Ultra, and the S25 Ultra is nothing to brag about when it comes to photo quality. Still beat the S25 Edge pretty handily in some photo quality comparisons that I saw last night. So if you are big and heavy into photography, this is not the phone for you. So it does have its pluses, it does have its pros, it does have its cons. But can you handle it? Can you deal with it? Is what it comes down to. Now, if you are interested in purchasing this device, I would do it right now. I wouldn't wait a month or 2 months from now. This thing is basically on sale, and Samsung's trying to get rid of them ASAP. Now, Samsung is only set to make about 1 million devices, which right off the top you think sounds like a lot. It's actually not. It's actually not. Samsung just sold its 5 millionth S25 Ultra, I believe, here in the US. And Samsung's only just last week. And Samsung is only going to make 1 million of these S25 Edges worldwide. So there's a chance if you wait a month or two from now, they're just going to be sold out. And Samsung only made a limited quantity to kind of test the waters, right? So this is a new sector that Samsung and Apple is stepping into. Apple's doing a lot of the similar things. They're going to make a limited, obviously they're going to make more than just 1 million iPhone 17 Airs, but it's not going to be on the same level as the iPhone 17, 17 Pro, or 17 Pro Max. Get it now if you're interested. And like I said in one of my previous videos, we're going to get into to purchasing it here in just a second, but hammer this thing hard when you get it if you buy it. I got word that it overheats when you record 4K video at 60 frames per second. After the 2-minute mark, it starts to heat up. So hammer that hard, test it out, take it outside, take it under the sun, record video under the sun. That's when a lot of my devices in the past would overheat. Not necessarily inside when it's nice and cool. Go outside in the sun, turn on that 4K video, and start shooting and see what happens. Test it hard. Now, if you want to get one, Samsung has these right now. So base price is basically $1,100 now. They are running specials where you get seamless upgrades if you join the Galaxy Club. You get up to $630 instant trade-in credit. You get double the storage on Samsung, and you get 3 months of Samsung Care on them. Now, it says save up to $800 with a $50 Samsung credit for reserving. I don't know where that $800 comes into. I was trying to figure that out last night, because the most that they give you for trade-in is $630, and then they give you like a $50 on top. So that's what, $680. I don't know where that extra $120 comes in. Maybe if you're a student or I think a military discount possibly. But let's jump into this. So they got all carriers available. You can grab it on US Cellular, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or you can purchase it unlocked, right? Now they're doing double the storage. You can get a 512 gig model for the same price as the 256. They got 3 colors. They got the titanium silver, they got the titanium jet black, and they got the icy blue. Now, trade-ins are interesting because that's the first thing I look at, and they're not as good as I thought. I was hoping that they would accept S25 models. I was potentially thinking of trading in my S25 Ultra for one of these. Now I know I'm obviously not going to do that, but it crossed my mind. And is that possible? Well, let's find out. No, it's not. They're pretty selective as far as what devices you can trade in. So there's the Z Fold 6, you get up to $630 off. S24 Ultra, last year's flagship. But see, here's the thing. If you had an S24 Ultra and you were going to upgrade, you were thinking about upgrading, you probably already upgraded your device. You probably already got the S25 Ultra. You probably already got the S25 Plus. So I don't see a lot of those trade-ins occurring. And then, look, you can trade in your S23 Ultra for $580. It's probably the best deal. If you want to know my secret sauce to trade-in deals, and it varies every year. Samsung was pretty consistent about giving you massive trade-in offers probably 2 to 3 years ago. And just in the last couple of years, they've really started to fine-tune that trade-in and actually give you less value for your trade-in. Back in the day, I could pay $168 and trade in my previous year's flagship and get the new flagship for $168, right? Obviously, you got to trade in your older device, but it was just a last year's flagship. Order the new flagship, send that phone in $168 in, boom, here's your new flagship. Now, no. So here's the other thing. Maybe I'll link this video in my trade-in hack, where you can go, okay, so if there's a Z Fold 6, they're giving you 600. No, let's do this. S24 Ultra, they're giving you $630. Let me go on eBay. Let me see how cheap I can get an S24 Ultra for. And then I'll take that. Of course, you got to shell some money out to buy that, but Samsung is going to give you $630 for it. Well, I got on eBay last night. The cheapest S24 Ultra I could find was like $450, $419. So you got to pay $419. Samsung's giving you $630, so it's like a free $200 on top, but you're still paying the $420, right? It's not worth it, in my opinion, because not only do you have to pay the $420 to get that trade-in, you're also paying $469 at the end. So you're paying $420 for the trade-in, and then you're paying $469 for the phone. It's not worth it. Now, if you have last year's flagship, you can obviously trade in your S24 Ultra if you already have one, but you're still paying $469. It's not worth it. This phone will be $469. You'll be able to buy this phone probably in 5 or 6 months, used, good condition, for $469, and you won't have to trade in anything. So I'm kind of on that boat, meaning I think I'm willing to wait it out. I really, really wanted this, but it's just not worth it, in my opinion. I want to wait and see what people say on the overheating. I want to see what the battery life is like. I want to see if anybody's talking about this battery bug. It seems like I'm the only person that has this battery bug. There's been a few commenters on some of my videos that say they have the same thing, but I got bad luck with this S25 series. I just did. Some have been rock solid in the past. I don't want to waste your time, but I've had so many classic Samsung devices that I absolutely love. And I was hoping this year would follow suit, right? But it's been quite the opposite. This has been a Galaxy series I would love to soon forget. Or quite honestly, I cannot wait for the S26 series to get here, because you're going to use silicone carbon batteries in the S26 model. So now, but real quick before we get out of here, here's a phenomenal deal. T-Mobile is giving these away free. I repeat, T-Mobile is giving these phones away for free. Let's go look at this. Check this out. So, if you go on T-Mobile's website, I don't know about AT&T, I don't know about Verizon, I don't know about US Cellular. I have T-Mobile, so that's why I was looking into it. Check this out. So, here's the S25 Edge. Now, let's check out their promotions, right? They have all the colors: black, icy blue, silver, 512 gigs. Now, I say completely free, and look, I guess technically that's not true, because you have to pay $299 down to get the phone. But look at these promotions that they're doing. That's cheaper than $469 on Samsung, right? Now, here, check this out. So, this phone is on T-Mobile. So, T-Mobile says this is on us with trade on Experience Beyond Go 5G Next. Got the weirdest names. They recently changed up their plans, naming and pricing and all that stuff. So it says get up to $1,100 off. The phone is $1,100. 24-month bill credits when you trade in an eligible device, any condition, on an Experience Beyond Go 5G Next plan. And they're also giving $800 off if you have the lesser 5G plan. But this is the best one up here. This is the one I got. Let's see. So here are the devices. It says how to get this offer. Have her switch to the Experience Beyond Go 5G Next rate plan. Already a T-Mobile customer and not sure what plan you have? Click here, blah, blah, blah. Purchase a new Samsung S25 Edge on a monthly payment plan and pay the applicable taxes on the pre-credit price at time of purchase plus $35 activation charge. T-Mobile's waiving the activation charge, by the way. Trade in an eligible device. So here are the devices you can trade in to get $1,100 off. Now, here's where the trade-in hack really comes into play, because you can go grab, look at this. Look at these first couple of devices right here. You can get an S10 on eBay for $60. I was just looking. $59, $54, $64. Right in that $50 to $60 range. Go grab you an S10 on eBay and use that as your trade-in, right? It doesn't have to be yours. They just need a eligible device to trade in, right? It doesn't have to be on your plan. You don't have to be using it. I do it every year. I'll go grab one on eBay and use that as my trade-in. Paying $60 for it, you know, saving you some money. Now, iPhones a little more expensive, 11 all the way up to the 15 Pro Max, OnePlus 10, 9, Google Pixel 9 Pro all the way down to the 9 series all the way down to the 6 series, and then the Moto Razr 2023, 2024. And then if you have an even older device, you get $550 off. But why would you do that? Just grab you a S10 on eBay and trade that in and call it a day. Now, you will be tied to T-Mobile, meaning you are expected to pay and or keep that line for 24 months. So, you know, I hope you're getting settled in. But one good thing about T-Mobile is their speeds and their service. I have been a staunch critic, a major critic of T-Mobile, not only for their data breaches, right? I'm not here trying to sell their service, right? Like they've done customers really, really shitty lately. The data breaches, steadily increasing the prices, right? They've changed up their device plans seemingly all the time. But I will give them credit, because I did a video maybe 2 weeks ago. They just updated their network to a true, and I didn't even realize this. This is America's first real true 5G network. AT&T says they got 5G. Verizon says they got 5G. And it's technically, if you want to get technical, it's like 4.5G. It's still based on a 4G node, but T-Mobile's new 5G network is based on a real 5G node. I am in a dead spot. Bugs the hell out of me. I don't get any service here. Calls break up, calls drop. When the power goes out and no Wi-Fi here, I get zero service. Literally, I had to get zero service on my phone. They just upgraded it, and I'm getting like 200 megabytes on the download, right? 5G, and calls are phenomenal, right? They fixed the dead spot. They upgraded their network. Now, here's the catch. It only works on Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 CPUs, and it only works on Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite CPUs. That would include this S25 Edge. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Elite in there. But just keep that in mind. You will get the best and fastest service, hands down. It's not even a question, on T-Mobile with this S25 Edge, without question, right? Better service than AT&T or Verizon. And I'm talking about speed. I'm talking about network visibility, meaning it eliminates dead spots. It's the real deal. And y'all know I love to shit on T-Mobile, but again, we are fair here. I am honest here. If somebody does something good, I'll congratulate them. If they do something bad, we'll obviously let you know that as well. But they did do something good and upgraded their network. So happy to see that. But again, I don't know about the other carriers, but T-Mobile's I say essentially giving them away free. I guess technically they're not, because you got to pay $300 plus tax. So I guess you're coming out to what, $350, $369, something like that. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, you're going to be paying, I guess, a little something just to get the device. But if you plan on getting one, let me know. Again, I think I'm going to wait and see how this plays out, because probably in about 6 months, you're gonna find one that's pretty cheap and in good condition too, right? Now these will come out May 30th, so if you're interested in you order one, you won't get it immediately. It's going to take about 2 weeks from now. So do appreciate the time. If you got any questions in regards to this device, I didn't really dive too much into all of these specifics. I wanted to touch on what I thought is important, what I thought you need to keep in mind if you're interested in buying this. Again, remember, fantastic device. It's very lightweight. You know, it's gonna have a beautiful display. It's a Samsung. You know what you're gonna get, right? With the One UI, fantastic operating system. But again, you're gonna take a hit with the cameras, especially with the zoom, possible overheating, and you know. Battery life, charging is slow. So if you can handle that, hey, more power to you. I personally, everybody's different. I personally am going to hesitate. I need a little bit more out of my phones personally. So I'm going to pass on this one. But if you're going to get it, let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out.